Oops.
What's up, partners? Derek, you made it on your first call. Very good. Amanda, you didn't have enough yesterday? 3+ hours?
Yeah, I'm excited for today.
Today's going to be great. You'll love it.
Keep it going.
Johnny, how you doing, man? Johnny, did you used to work for my friend Michael Salvietti?
What was that?
Did you used to work for my friend Michael Salvietti? Gonna need that host code. Gonna need that host code. Beast, what's up?
Hold on.
What's happening?
How are you?
Great.
My man. That's what I always, my kids.
Oh, Vince, can you hear me now?
Yeah. I asked did you used to work for my friend Mike Salvietti?
Yeah, yes, I did.
You did. You worked. Okay. When he had his RYB. Did you
Yep.
work? Did you
Yes.
work in the church?
No, I worked with him in the new place in Mineola, and I met
Okay.
you the first time for the master. It was like the 2-day event in Jersey.
Got it. Got it. Oh. The
So,
beauty
Vince, just a quick little heads up. Just I wanted to give you a heads up. 2 things. One, do you want us to stay muted for this one?
Yes, you are not allowed to say any words. No, I'm kidding.
All right, you got it.
So you'll
And
stay. No, I'm just messing with you. It's come on. It's the first day jitters. Let's go. So yeah. So stay muted when you're when I'm like I'll teach like a mini lesson today. But no, it's similar to the Q&A section that we do in the surge call. So keep yourself muted until, I guess it's like mute yourself unless you're speaking. That's I guess the best rule. Right?
Okay. And
Or-
just a sec. And just one more.
And if you are eating, okay, if you are eating, please mute yourself. Yeah, we don't want to hear. Thanks.
Just one last thing was, as I mentioned in my comment yesterday in the Facebook post, I'm understaffed this week, so I have a client coming in at 1. I was able to make time for this today for like at least a good hour. So I do apologize in advance, and I wanted to tell you face to face and not just hang up on you guys.
You got it, brother. You're all set. It's
All
all
right, thank
good,
you.
man. Hey, we
I
appreciate
appreciate
you. We appreciate you being here. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Good. I had this major problem. I was scattered across my desk 18 different things that I want to teach at the mastermind. And I am like, it has been painful for me to decide. painful. And I actually made the decision this morning. It was on my daily planner that I had to finally to decide and be a decisive, courageous leader to be able to decide what I want to teach you guys at the mastermind. So I decided this morning of the final lessons that I'm going to be bringing you guys. So very excited, very exciting. The surge calls have been like incredible. Like I've never seen surge calls this good before. We have not been, and it's not like me doing anything special. It's really the questions that are being asked. The surge calls are going 3+ hours on the Zoom, and like it's like literally 3 o'clock. There's still like 20 people on the call, and like I don't have the heart to tell them like, you know, I do have a job that I got to get to and go work. You know, I can't stay on the phone and talk all day long. But no, I'm just kidding. But it was good. It was good. The surge is going well. Check out the replay too, because if you did surge only once before, I did make a lot of changes to modules 1 and 2. Not as many to module 3, which is the referral module, but it did make a decent amount of changes to modules 1 and 2. So you may want to go in and take a look. Is Zach on? Where the heck is Zach? Will, do you have the host code?
I can get it. Give me a second.
Alrighty. All right, let's first start. I want to welcome a new member of the group, and that is Derek. Everyone say hello to Derek Ledwich. Derek is in Michigan, so we are taking over the state of Michigan with gym owners from Michigan. We have the most gym owners from Michigan of any other mastermind in the country. 3 of you. But so yeah, Derek is a direct referral from Eric Driver. So thank you very much, Eric. Appreciate that. And I know that you introduced Derek to me a long time ago, but wasn't until took Derek a little while to get to us. But he's finally here, and he'll be at the mastermind coming up, and you know we're excited to see him. So welcome, Derek. Derek, give us a little bit of background on you and what you're looking to get out of the group.
Yeah, so from Michigan, obviously, talked to Eric. God, I think I talked with him way back when I first started. I think that was even before he joined your guys' group, and then talked to him a little bit when I was looking for a business coaching, and I'm going another spot, but then also still on your email list, and then wanting to differentiate a little bit more. And so I talked to Eric again, and then reached out to Vince. Large group facility out here, and biggest thing is I'm looking to be a little bit more productive and a little bit more direction on some of the systems and stuff like that I am sort of missing, and get a little bit more organized.
Awesome, brother. Welcome. Great to have you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I actually will be able to come to that. I know it was iffy, but I'll be in Orlando, and I have the afternoon wave, so I'll be able to come out to you guys on the mastermind. I'll have to like ditch out a little bit earlier to go to my volleyball tournament right down the road.
Awesome. Excellent. All right, let's get in. I wanted to just really quickly welcome the Surgers. We have another group of 5. We're doing this in rounds of 5. I'm letting 5 guys go on each week to experience what we're doing. So we have Johnny. Just wave when I say what's up. We have Amanda, aka Chris. And who else is from the Surge? I think that might be it. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get into it. What good news do you have to share with me that you could also at the same time, the good news that you're sharing could give someone an idea or teach someone a lesson for the coach. That is the biggest cup of coffee I've ever seen in my entire life. What the hell is that? Is that like a gallon of coffee? Jesus. All right. So go ahead. What's good? What's going good in your life right now? Go ahead.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
So I started doing like a little bit of a journal. I got it through this Roan event that I went to, and it's basically like a 5-minute journal saying like, obviously like, well, what are you thankful for? What's going to make today great? What are some things that, and there's like an evening part to it where it's saying like, what happened today that was amazing? And what would you like to see more of in your life? And it's like the simplest thing for me. I keep it on my coffee table, and I've been doing it for like 6-7 days now. And it's just a great way to start my day. So
Awesome.
if anybody has something like that, it's cool. I'll take a picture of the page because I'm sure it's so easy to like print out and just like put a date in there. But it's really been great. It's like starts my day off on the right foot. So I wanted to share that with everybody.
Yeah, great job. One of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins, you've heard me say this a lot, is complexity is the enemy of execution. And that is like a great example right there, Noam, of you making something really simple and easy. And when you make something really simple and easy, there's a good chance you're going to get the job done. So it's like sometimes you think journaling is I got to write like 3 pages in my journal. It's almost like an overwhelming task versus that's why there's another journal created called the 5-minute journal, which I personally didn't like. I don't know if anyone else liked it. I mean, I did it for a little bit and I just stopped it. I just didn't like it, but more of a purist myself, but that's good. Good share, no. Who else? Christian Merritt, don't you want to talk about your heavy double kettlebell front squats? Good, Joe.
Just redoing, constantly updating our vision organizer. I think our team meetings have been running on a next level. So we've had once a quarter, we try to have a sales review, a vision review and stuff like that. So it's surprising that, what's in the gym owner's head in terms of where we know the company is going and what we want, and how far away your employees could be. So just constantly ensure that they understand, the mission, the purpose, the passion, and, what's happening in the company and where you're going. And some of the key ticket items, I think, is a critical part of, building a team and growing together.
Joe, are you guys rating the meeting on a scale of 1 to 10 at the end?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And is that rating going up?
Yeah, I mean,
on average,
the meetings have been great. We've been really sticking. I think since we started timing the meetings and actually keeping like a strict timeline on everything, they've been going much smoother. Yeah. And but yeah, definitely.
That is one thing with team meetings is, especially if you're going to follow the process that I teach, is being. So one of the things I work on with John, who our GM, is the timing of things and not getting into what's called tangents.
Yeah. Because
that is the quickest way for your people to hate meetings, when all these things go on these long tangents and people get long-winded and sections get overrun. So it's really important for you to have the good control of, so even for something like scoreboard, like if you're going over the metrics and the numbers, the purpose, the way I teach the meeting is that's what you do. It's either on track or off track, and that's it. And then it moves to an issue down there. So you got to be quick, you got to be witty, and you got to make sure you're able to call people out and be like, hey, we're off track right now. We got to move this to an issue. Yeah, it's been going good. Yeah. Like I said, I think the, just updating the vision, consistently, and making sure that in your team meetings that you reiterate those things consistently is a big part of the leadership process. Awesome, man. Good work. All right. Who wants to go next? What happened good in your, Larry, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on? So since the last mastermind, November, I've been trying to get a new trainer. I actually got 2, and it's got me the opportunity to literally take off one day during the week to just talk to members. And it's been amazing because my classes are booked out, are literally for, I don't know if you guys can see this, from Saturday, we have no space in our classes. I can't see that, but it happens week after week since I've gotten to take off Wednesdays and just kind of go to the studio, kind of like hand out that water, hand out the towel, talk to people, and just remind them to book classes, kind of check in on their experience. And that's simply from hiring 2 people, and our classes have been, we've literally had a good problem since I've been able to do that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's actually a really good lead in for a refresher. So Larry said, you mentioned giving out water. The term that I learned it from is pouring water, that I learned from a guy named Ari Weinswick. And I always had this like weird, when I wasn't really training much and I was really in the day-to-day of leadership of my business, I really didn't know like how to quantify that time. And so Ari Weinswick calls it pouring water, where literally he will really just walk around his restaurant and pour glasses of water. And it's his way of connecting with clients, of connecting with staff. And it's not like he's being awkward or anything like that. It's really just, he's just pouring water and he's just making good casual conversation. And the people love it, like when the owner comes over and pours a glass of water. And a lot of times, like he'll say, like a lot of people will say to him, like, "Oh, you're looking for a job or something like that." And it'll be like this guy that owns like an $80 million company. These people ask him if he needs a job. But it's really funny, but it's a way for you to see your company for almost like an undercover boss type mentality, where you're really just walking around and checking things out and watching how things run and asking lots of questions to your clients. So it's probably something, if you're on the leadership front or you're kind of moving in that direction like Larry is, you may want to even schedule time for that, and because it's different to do when you're actually training on the floor than if you're actually going to, just kind of walk around your business with the mindset of extracting ideas, of creating connections and creating conversations. It's hard to do that when you're training because there's a focus and there's a job that needs to be done. So my advice to you would be to start scheduling it, even if it's 1 hour a week, where you walk around the gym and all you're doing is like helping. Like you're spotting, you're getting weights for people, go get people a bottle of water, go get someone a towel. And it's kind of like what Ari calls that servant leadership, where you're supporting your staff and you're supporting the clients and you're supporting the business. And you're doing it in a way that's making other people, look highly of you, but also that you can extract and get a lot of information about your business from those things. So it's a great thing. I just call it from a gym perspective, spotting, right? Spotting. You just walk around and start spotting people and helping out, and then you can get a lot of insight about your business that way. So thank you for bringing that up, Larry, and great job.
Awesome. I'm actually also taking a class today with 2 of the instructors. They're going to try to beat me up, but the members are really excited to be in class with them today.
Very good. Awesome. There you go. Yeah, actually, we started doing that too, where we had, if there was a trainer was available and there was an empty spot in the class, Vanessa actually spearheaded this idea where we had them put together like this, it was like a contest that we put together, and the trainer that gets the most workouts over the course of the month gets like a prize. And what this does is it kind of drives community among the members. The members like working out alongside you guys and seeing what you do and stuff like that. It just brings another layer of energy to the different classes. So, ideally you want your trainers training and administering sessions, but if there is a point in time where they're not, that might be the next best thing for them to be doing. And the other thing too is what we're doing, we're using that to give feedback on the pulse of the session. So the trainer that takes the class will give feedback to the other trainer and be like, hey, this was good. This was what I think it was a little slow in this one. This warm up was a little weak. So we're working on it to give feedback to each other and trying to kind of really, kind of have this a great supportive team that we were supporting each other to grow. So, yeah. All right. What else? Good. We're still on good stuff.
Ben's, I'll go.
Go ahead, brother.
been doing a lot of interviews for an admin position, so
Good.
that's been going in the right direction of that rock. So I got some questions on that.
Yeah, for sure, man. But that's good. You're moving in that. That's going to be a free you up a ton right there.
Yeah.
Good. Yep.
I got something.
Who's this? Will?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Will.
So we have the gym's running very, very well, pretty much without me. And we closed he's a Michelin star chef. He's the only one in Texas, and he owns like 15 really, really, really high-end restaurants, like named ones that run also without him. But he's a true influencer, and he's been with us 2 weeks, and he's already referred 6 people that were other business owners and people of note. Andrew Weissman. Anyway, so that was a giant win. And then really been pushing referrals with lawyers, and I think we have 8 or 9 lawyers, and so they're also referring other lawyers actively and really pushing resources towards them too.
Good. Excellent job, Tech. Anyone else got anything good to report that we can learn from? Can we learn from you? Is there something you want to share that the rest of the group can benefit from your victories? Come on, don't be shy. Alrighty, okay. So I have what's called a shotgun of lessons today. A shotgun. So it's going to be just a bunch of different stories and a bunch of things that are kind of coming across my mind and my plate right now. It'll lead into some pretty good discussions, I do believe. So the first one is I am on the American Red Cross email list. And I usually will donate blood. I'm supposed to do it like once every 3 or 4 months or something like that, because Kyle told me to. So I donate blood regularly, and so I'm on their email list. And I know it's time for me to donate, but it's just been very busy, and he's kind of got to block like 2 hours to go do it, so it's kind of a pain. But I got an email from the American Red Cross, and the subject line got me. And it got me to, it didn't even get me right away. Here's what happened. So basically, the subject line was a message from Cindy Crawford. A message from Cindy Crawford. Now, some of you young bucks don't know who that is. Okay. But if you're my age and Kyle Newell's age, right, just like late 30s, early 40s, like Cindy Crawford was the supermodel growing up. She was huge. And so Cindy Crawford is a name that kind of rings my bell, if you will. And so I see a message, and it wasn't even the actual Cindy Crawford that I saw first. It was a message. And if you think about that word, and this is like, I don't know who's running American Red Cross's marketing, but they're actually doing a pretty good job, because they put a cookie on me, and they're following me with ads now. So I'm like really impressed with the American Red Cross's marketing right now. But so think of the word message. And if someone sends you, so think of text message, think of Facebook message, think of all these things. It seems a message to you sounds very personal. So immediately when I saw the word message, before I even saw Cindy Crawford, I was like, oh, someone wants to send me a message. So that made me look at the subject line even further. And then I said a message. Then I saw a message from Cindy Crawford. And I was like, they got me. All right, they got me. I'm going to open this because it's a message. I'm not sure. So what are the 2 most important ways you should use a subject line. Type into the chat. There's 2 things your subject line should do. 2 things your subject line should do. You should use what? Come on, I've taught this 100 times. Okay, so that's beside the name. So that is actually one of them. So yes, exactly. Thank you, Kyle. Curiosity, and the other one is obviously useful. Obviously useful. So this was a good curiosity one because one, they used the term message, and I was like, all right, message. What's the message? Is the message for me? Was something wrong with my blood that I took last time? Like, what's the message? And then Cindy Crawford. Why is Cindy Crawford doing anything with the American Red Cross? And so they got me. And what happened was I saw it and I opened it and then I did it, but I didn't delete the email because for some reason I didn't. And the message was still there. And I clicked on it, linked, and then I went back in and I scheduled my blood work. I scheduled my blood draw. And it was like, it totally worked. Now here's why. What did it use? Okay, so the first thing it used was, who is Cindy Crawford? She's a very, very famous person, right? She's a famous supermodel. And thank you, Alina, what form of persuasion did we use? Type it into the chat. Type it into the chat. Authority. So Cindy Crawford is an authority figure. She's a famous person. And, I think that, there's a lot of people a lot younger than me on the American Red Cross's email list. But to me, it was like, a childhood kind of, heartthrob type of thing. So it was a really good use for someone like myself. So you have authority and you also have social proof. You also have social proof that Cindy Crawford, all right, stands by the, American Heart Association. So a great example by someone you wouldn't think would be really good at marketing because it's like a nonprofit organization and stuff like that. But like I said, they put a cookie on me and immediately they're following me and hounding me to get back in. So think of how you guys can use the word message, right? A message, even using the words, if you want to just sniper people and go one at a time, a personal message. Or it can be something where it doesn't have to be an actual individual email. You could just say a personal message from Eric Driver, right? Or a personal message from Chris Merritt. And it could be a message that's just personal. It could be something where you're talking about, something that happened with your family or something that made your life better or something like that. A personal message from Eric Driver. And if you're like TJ, right, and you have someone like a CC Sabathia that you could use, a personal message or a message from CC Sabathia. All right. So it's a way that you can kind of attract and use in your subject lines people's attention. Okay. So that's the first one. The second one, I took my kids, I posted this in the Facebook group. The second one is I took my kids to Sky Zone. Okay. I took my kids to Sky Zone recently. And Sky Zone is this like big trampoline park. It's like indoors and it's this huge like warehouse full of trampolines. And my kids hate to go. Like you would think kids love to go and they hate to go because I'm not really that fun. I like time them and I tell them like that they got to get a certain amount of jumps in an hour. And these kids are like pouring sweat and we're jumping around the trampolines. And I'm like, I'm turning it into a workout. And so they're like, on the way there, I'm like, we're going to Sky Zone. And they're like, no, Dad, you're going to make us jump for an hour. Like, I don't want to go to Sky Zone. And I'm like, no, we're going to Sky Zone because they had basketball practice and basketball practice got canceled or something like that. And so we get to Sky Zone and there's something new there. And it was that American Ninja Warrior course. And it was one of those things where they could like grab the trapeze and swing all around and then all these different obstacle courses. And they loved it. and they loved it. It was like they had the best time. They're like, Daddy, can we go back? Can we go back? I want to go back. So it was a combo of us jumping and then the course. And there was two things that happened. The first thing is what I showed you, and I don't know if all of you saw this, but the first one was their pricing structure. And they didn't have the pricing structure but like this before. They just had, you just show up and you just go. But the pricing structure before was $25 for their lower. I don't remember exactly what the options were. It's like $25. The middle one was $30 and the other one was like $40. And in the middle, it had the words that you guys know and have been taught many times, most popular, right? Most popular. So even a business like Sky Zone, they're taking research from Cialdini, you know, the top influencer on the planet, and they're using these things like most popular. Okay, so it's so not that you have to have a good, better, best pricing structure, not that you have to have the low one be really, really close to the high one. I do think at a minimum, that you should be using the term most popular on the option that you want the most, which is your most profitable option and which is the one you want. And using those words will drive more people to that option. I've seen it firsthand. But the other thing that I saw from this is we went to Sky Zone, right? And they only had trampolines. And then we went back again and they had all this Ninja Warrior course. And before my kids didn't want to go, and now they want to go. Okay, now they want to go. And they had all this space that they weren't using, right? They had nothing there. Where the Ninja Warrior course is now, there's nothing there. And that is a term that I'm not going to talk about much today, but because it's going to be one of my lessons at the mastermind.
How are you?
Hold on. You guys mute your audio, please. Thanks. But because it's going to be one of I'm just going to get your mind thinking about it. Okay. So that area that used to be empty, that now holds the Ninja Warrior course, was something very specific called unused capacity. Unused capacity. And so now this place had all of this capacity in their business that was not being used before and is now being used, and is now the thing that wants my kids to go back. It is an ultra important concept in business. And I am going to not surprise you and tell you that one of my main presentations at the mastermind will be all about how you can find unused capacity in your business. And you can find unused capacity in physical locations. You can find unused capacity in content. You can find unused capacity in people. It is something that I am going to unpack in high detail that I'm really, really excited about for you guys, because it's basically going to help you find the hidden money in your business. But this was just a great example of how a business went from a place where my kids didn't really want to go to a place where my kids really want to go. Okay. The third thing is I have been using something called, much more often called the trial close. Okay, the trial close. And all I'm going to tell you about the trial close, because I will be going over this again at the mastermind, but the trial close is essentially when you're having a conversation, and preferably like a sales conversation. Okay, it is you saying something like that to them where it says, does that make sense? Is all this making sense to you? Do you hear me? Are you following all this? Is all this making sense? Something like that. And just to see if you guys are paying attention, that's a form of persuasion. Okay. Which form of persuasion is that? It looks like I need to go over. There we go. Very good, Jason. So it's commitment and consistency. Commitment and consistency. By you simply asking, does that make sense? And them agreeing, saying, yes, that makes sense. One, you're getting the buy-in to move forward and kind of continue the conversation. But two, if it doesn't make sense, and most people won't, most people just say yes. If it doesn't make sense, then that allows you to clarify yourself on a much deeper level. So start when you're having conversations with people, when you're talking, instead of just keep continually rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, have there be a break and put the ball in their court and kind of say something like, does that make sense? Is all this making sense to you? Actually, it's funny because Tom was really brilliant. Tom has done this for years. And I don't think he knew that he was doing anything persuasive, but he did something that was like really, really powerful, and he didn't even know that he was doing it. And it was when he speaks in front of an audience, him getting that engagement back was really, really powerful. Okay. Alrighty. Number 4. Okay, number 4. One of the most powerful laws of persuasion is a term named scarcity. Scarcity. Okay. And if you think about scarcity is there's a limit to what you can buy. There's a limit to what you can buy. And if you think about it, it's like if someone tells you you can't have something, what happens? You want it more and more and more, right? You want it more and more and more. So I had 3 sales of the surge on the final day. 3 sales of the surge on the final day because I mentioned scarcity. And here we are. I had been promoting this thing for how many weeks, how many months, over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. And finally, the final thing I did was pull out scarcity. And there's 3 commitments on the program on the final day. Okay. We have the same experiences in GFP when we do fat loss challenges, where if you use scarcity right, it can be a really, really good win. So think about what are the ways that you're using it, right? What are the ways that you're using scarcity in your ads, in your emails, in your business? Okay. If you do a seminar, what are the ways you're doing it using scarcity? All right. Lesson number 5. The most important part of a testimonial, is telling people where they were before and where are they now. Where they were before and where are they now. Okay. One of the questions you can start asking people in your consultations is, hey, you're 47 right now. You're 47 right now. Do you feel younger or older than what you feel right now? Do you feel younger or older than what you feel right now? And most of the time people are going to say, I feel older. I feel older. I feel like, I am, I'm 40 right now and I feel like I'm, 50 or something like that. Well, that information you can use to get people to be in their testimonials. Hey, when before, you came in, you felt 50. How old do you feel now? Well, I felt 50 now, and now I feel 30. All right, and that is a perfect example for you guys to use. And I will tell you this: most of you are using the terms. In terms of 40 people, 40 plus, and that's older, longer life, happier life, that type of stuff. Well, the age thing is huge, right? The age thing is huge. People want to feel younger. All right. People want to feel younger. And so a way that you can identify that is to capture where they were when they came in. And then a simple question 3 months later is, hey, how old do you feel now? And there you have it. You have all the information right there. It's like, okay, I used to feel 50 and now I feel 30. And that is the perfect thing. And that's like, yeah, the best thing is a before after picture. But, a lot of times those scare people away, right? And turn people off. Like they see the shredded person. They're like, I can never look like that, versus them holding up a sign. And you've seen me use this, them holding up a sign and them saying, hey, this is where I was. This is where I felt that at that place. And this is where I feel now. It's a really, really, really powerful thing. It's a really, really powerful thing. Okay. And the last one, and then I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to write down all your questions. The last one is, I want you to start asking your top 10 clients, these 2 questions. Start asking your top 10 clients these 2 questions. Why do they buy from you? And what keeps them coming back? Actually, let's do this. So I want you to answer that question and almost put yourself, let's do this, okay? And actually, right after, I'll give you a second to write down your questions. But I want to actually hear from some of you. I want you guys to write down why you think, put yourself in your client's shoes and write down why you think they buy from you. Why do you think your clients buy from you? What do you think they're going to say? Okay, and write down what do you think they're going to say with what keeps them coming back. Take 5 minutes, and I want you to get a blank sheet of paper and write the top question at the top of the page, why they buy from you and what keeps them coming back. And I want you to just write. Bullet point it out. Why they buy from you, what keeps them coming back. 5 minutes. Right. All right, someone go out loud. Someone go. Answer the question. Why do they buy? What do you think that they are going to say? What do you think they're going to say? Go ahead, Lena.
They'll say that you changed my life, and what keeps them coming back are the improvements in their mental and physical health, and they don't want to lose that. And the community that we have, the support from both members and coaches alike, and the workouts.
Awesome. And if someone, what would your, and this is an important reason I'm doing this, Alina, what would you do if someone said that to you?
I would probably ask them to write us a review.
Okay.
And to share it with other people, you know, bring somebody in.
That's what you would do?
Yeah.
You sure?
Definitely the first one, working on the second one.
Good. So we're leading into, and the Surge people learned this yesterday for the first time. You guys have been taught it for the second. But just asking these questions, one, you are getting marketing gold, right? You're getting marketing gold from what people are telling you. But two is you're tying into you driving social proof. You're tying into you generating referrals. Now, what if you spread out all of your trainers to ask that? You know, and your trainers started to having these conversations. You know, then all of a sudden you're like, you know, try it for a week. Have your trainers ask and see what they come back with. And they'll give you, so now you're multiplying the amount of things that you say. You guys don't know this, but a lot of the things that you write in your check-ins, a lot of things that are going well, and a lot of you things that you need support. That's not the reason of why I do it, but the information is there. And I don't like highlight you personally from it, but I just take the concepts of what you guys say. And that is a lot of what, because there's a lot of people that I market to that have very similar problems that you guys do and very similar successes that you guys do. So a lot of this is getting deep inside the mind of your customer, and the way you can do it is by regularly asking them those questions. All right, someone else go. And one of the most successful people in the group said, I know what they say because I ask them all the time.
I'll go, Vince. Am I allowed to?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So one of the reasons why I think people buy from me is because I keep it personal and show compassion. Try to show a lot of understanding. And what keeps them coming back is the personal push, the adjustments when they come in with certain pains or injuries, and the accountability. If I don't see them, like for my group training, if I see that their attendance has a lot of red, which means that it's absent, I shoot them a text and, hey, what's going on? Just want to follow up. And, you know, when am I going to see you again?
Yeah, that is a huge one, the accountability, and great job on that, Johnny. When I used to ask this question, the answer I would get a lot, and it surprised me, the answer I would get a lot from a lot of our members was, I really, really value the scheduled appointment. I really, really valued the scheduled appointment, meaning they really valued someone is waiting for them, and it gives them more of a push to actually go, right? Someone is waiting for them. So that's an accountability type factor. And I had so many people tell me that, and it's never something I would have used in marketing, but after so many people kind of have said that to me, it's something that we use often, in that, you know, hey, we're going to hold you accountable. You're going to have an appointment where you can come at your scheduled time and blah, 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 blah. You know, and to our market, it's a little different. You know, we don't have, we have a lot of non-working people, right? A lot of non-working people, you know, that really want that community and that time that they come, they want to come at the same time. So for others in the group, it's flexible scheduling is the big one. So it doesn't matter really what it is. It matters what your clients value. All right, give me one more. One more. Why do they buy?
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
So I think the biggest thing when I've asked people is that they really felt that they bought from us because they felt cared about. We listened to their goals, and we cared about them, and they really felt like we were connecting with them and hearing it. And then reason people stay is that we are, consistency. And then they feel better now than they felt when they first walked in the door. and then the friendship and community that they've built here.
Beautiful, beautiful. All things that you can talk about, all things you can use, all things you could take pictures about. This is unused capacity. This is unused capacity, not having these conversations and not hearing what your clients are actually saying. That is a form of unused capacity. I'm going to dump a whole bunch of it on you in the next 2 weeks. But it is massive what these people can tell you about what you need to say. Okay, great. All right, so that's kind of, my recap of my shotgun of lessons of what's kind of been happening in my world. What are the business, and what I'm always doing is I'm always trying to make the connection, always trying to make the connection between the things I see in my life, in my world, and where I go, where I do business, and how do I make the connection to improve, your businesses and my own, right? So I think a lot of it is, what are you learning? And Jay Abraham talks about one of the most important factors in business. One of the most important factors in business is to look outside of your industry. To look outside of your industry and look what other industries are doing. What are they doing in the restaurant space? What are they doing in the salon space? What are they doing in all this other, and what can you pull from that? And you should also be pulling from other businesses, like Kate's business. Maybe there are things that you can learn from how Bar A or a yoga practice is running their business. Right. So look at all these different businesses and go into them and explore and make relationships and stuff like that. So it's really, really important for you guys to be doing that, to be looking around at if you're going to be a true entrepreneur, everything.
You guys can print off another check, and I think probably the next time we come to do that.
Zach, can I have the host code, please?
I texted it to you and Facebook as well.
Guys, got to mute your audios. It's doing that stupid thing again, Will, where it's not allowed. Oh, here we go. I'm going to start handing out demerits. All right. All right. So that's what I got for you guys today. Good job on the feedback with that. What challenges do you have? This is now your show. What challenges that you have that I can help you with, and that the group can also band together and help you? What do you guys got going on that you need assistance on? Let's rock.
Hey, Vince, I got a question.
Go ahead, Billy.
We're doing our 6-week challenge. I'm in week 3, and I'm going to be starting a reactivation campaign, and I want to use the 9-word email as well. But my question is, do I use the 9-word email now, since I'm just starting the reactivation campaign, or do I use it on its own? Is it a separate entity? Should I do the reactivation campaign, not use the 9-word email? Kind of confused on how I should.
What do you mean? What does the 6-week challenge have to do with this?
Well, that's running now. So that's a question I have. I don't know at what point while I'm running a 6-week challenge, can I also run a reactivation campaign? And if so, because it's kind of the same email lists for me. So I'm not sure how to put it all in to a calendar.
Okay.
On timing.
Well, if those people are in the 6-week challenge, you're marketing to them separately, right? So you're in a sales relationship with them right now.
Correct.
Right. And with the new people, if you just want to send a separate email, I mean, so how many people is it?
For the reactivation?
Yeah.
Well, I want to go.
No, how many people are in your challenge?
Oh, 26.
Okay, so just leave the people off the email.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Brilliant. Okay, but with the 9-word email though.
Yep.
Is that something I would use for the reactivation as an email, or am I going to go through the sequencing of the reactivation campaign that you showed us all that?
I would go through the sequencing of the regular reactivation campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're going to email or text.
Mm-hmm.
You know, text. I think text first would probably be the best bet,
Okay.
and then they send an email and then follow up with a phone call.
Great.
Yeah, I think you'll probably get the most from the text message though.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you got to remember, Billy, too, is that is there, creating some kind of a reason too? Is there a reason that you're reaching out to them? Sometimes it's great you can invite them to something, you can just give them something for free, but a lot of times it's better if there's a reason that you're reaching out to them.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. All right. Who's next?
Vince, I have a question.
Go ahead, Joe.
So we're like in an interesting time where I think it's in either Traction or Lencioni's book, but our leadership team, we had someone off, we put someone new on it. And every time you get a new group together, you have to recreate the group dynamic and reestablish the rules and everything. And so this is probably our 5th different iteration of a leadership team where people on off over the years. And this one, we have a younger guy on. He's been a star, but he's really kind of tanked when he's been in the leadership meetings.
Okay.
And we need to establish a better dynamic because he's, like I said, he's been a star. He'll be running one of our busier facilities. He has been, and we promoted him to leadership team. And I don't think he acknowledges that he's done well. He's a 24-year-old kid. Now he's on the leadership team of $1 million company, and he's got his head up his ass. And I don't like to drive with the brake on, and I have to drive with the brake on and deal with, baby gloves a little bit. Is there anything that you have to kind of persuade him into being more? And you'll meet him in 4 weeks, but
let me ask you this: Joe, is it a lack of trying, or is he being not wanting to buy into the process, or is he just not getting it?
I think he gets it. He's running into those 24-year-old problems that we don't think about anymore. Like, had a bad weekend with his girlfriend. He comes in Monday and he's sluggish in the meeting, and we're like, hey, you got to check that at the door. He is a little bit burnt out. We have run a crazy schedule. We just opened a new location. He's now by himself. Daddy's not in the room to help him anymore at the other location like he used to be. We do split shifts. I have to have some sympathy to him feeling burnout like that. But I'm trying to find the right balance because we have to get stuff done.
Yeah, for sure. And so what's the schedule like with obviously you're the integrator of the business still, and your job, if he's on the leadership team, is to lead him. And comes back to falling in your lap and your responsibility. So on your end, what are you doing to support him, to help him do his job better?
So we rearranged his schedule a little bit to give him basically a 5-day a week instead of working weekends, so he can spend time with his out-of-town girlfriend, all that nonsense. No, so he can. It's important to him. I'm with him 1 day a week, and he has our trainer mentor, Brian, who with him 1 day a week, so he's not feeling as much.
When you say you're with him, you're coaching with him.
So I'm in the room while he's coaching.
Okay.
I'm usually not, I might be doing energy checks or just walking the room, but usually not coaching. But there to give him feedback. Yeah, we rearranged the schedule like he wanted, so we could have his weekend time. 'Cause he's more of an emotional creature than the rest of the leadership team. We're just kind of stone cold. But a member will dump a problem on him, and he'll ride it through the weekend. It's not like he doesn't care. It's like he almost cares too much. Someone will be like, "Oh, that workout wasn't that good," and he'll go home and cry. Like we got to kind of hold his hand a little bit more, and he wears it too much. That's why we don't have a problem with giving him the 2 days off, so he can kind of get some space
He's not going to survive well in Joe Hashi world.
Oh,
I'll tell you that
God.
with this whole crying thing. So E Dizzle does bring up a good point, and I assume you have done this before. So where does he fall in the people analyzer right now?
Oh, he's done really well. We do our 90-day. He's, like I said, been a star up until the first of the month. So the last 19 days, the only time he's been on the leadership team, but he's been like an exceptional, even capacity to do it. Certainly has done a lot independently where other people haven't. So he has it. We're just trying to we're burning him out, so we're working him too hard.
Okay.
And he's not checking his emotions at the door when it comes to being an adult in a leadership meeting.
So if you're burning him out, then does he have the capacity? Would you
have the capacity?
Well, it's not what you think. It's
Yeah.
what's happening. It's what's
Yeah.
happening. Right. So if we were to answer, remember, you need to answer yes to GWC. For those of you watching at home, GWC stands for, I got to take a minute to teach, Joe. For those of you watching at home, GWC is very important. Stands for get it, want it, and capacity to do it. When someone is in a specific role of their business, they must be able to answer yes to those three questions. Okay. So get it means that they understand the job. If this person's job is in Joe's case, this person's job is to run a company, not a small, not a small task, especially with the expectations of Joe Hashi. Okay. But you got to be able to get the role. Okay. One, you got to want the role. You got to want the role. You got to really want what the job is. And I've made several mistakes I have put people in jobs that they just didn't want, and they said yes because they didn't want to say no to me. Okay. The third thing is capacity. And do they have the capacity? And this means two things. This means, do they have the capacity in terms of, do they have the ability to learn how to do the job? And then they do have the time and the energy to be able to do the job. So what we're finding with Joe is it seems like he gets it. It seems like he wants it. It sounded like he had the capacity. But when anyone ever mentions burnout and feeling burnt out, we do have to look at capacity. And are we running up to his personal capacity that's not able to keep up the expectation of your idea of capacity? So I'll ask you again, is he a yes to all three questions?
He's a yes to all three questions. And we just rearranged the schedule. Him and I had a talk last Friday where our leadership team all follows extreme ownership. They know to lead up the chain of command if they feel something going on. And he raised his hand and said, hey, I'm just emotionally burnt out because I got this going on with my girlfriend and this and that. And I said, no problem. Let's work with you. The leadership team stepped up, rearranged the schedule for him. And then he was a real dink on Monday when we had the leadership meeting. And I think he probably just needs 2 weeks to recharge, but I've thrown 3 easy leadership meetings, and the kind of leadership team and I have solved the problems outside and just thrown him some softballs, but I'm not really willing to throw him 4 or 5 softballs.
Yeah. So what's plan B for you if it doesn't turn around?
So he would just go back to running the facility, but not on the leadership team. And then myself or Krista would be doing our weekly stand-ups with him and just kind of doing trickle down versus having him on the leadership team.
Do you feel like someone that's running one of your businesses, though, needs to be on the leadership team? Do you feel like it's necessary?
I think eventually he would need to be on it. Does he need to be on it today? I don't know. If that's creating some capacity issues for him, then maybe not. He's a kid that from his beginning, he's like, I'll take this job and I'll work with this company because I'm looking for someone to help mentor me and I want to progress. So it's in alignment with his original vision to be on the leadership team, but I have to have a heart to heart with it. He kind of sucks at it right now.
Yeah.
And it's the first time out of all of our iterations where we've had this issue where someone comes on and hasn't delivered even remotely to what we'd expect.
So let me ask you this. What would happen if instead of you doing it, someone else did it?
Did what? Spoke to him?
Yeah. And now it was like a peer-to-peer accountability type thing.
So I've weighed that. He's always been at the facility I've been at. So I think he has a little bit of connection with me. That's why he reached out to tell me about his emotional issues. And I try to juggle with like will he think that his peer, like Brian, will think less of him if he's not delivering? So for right now, I can have the conversation.
Okay. The only reason why I ask is because I found that sometimes as we get older and they get younger, like 40 and 24, that's a big gap in age. And a lot of times, like Brian is, I think one of your other trainers, he's like in his 30s, right?
Yeah, he's like 28.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so he's like, one may look up to Brian in that sense as almost like a colleague / leader, where he's not looking at him as more of like this boss thing. It's like the difference between Michael Jordan going to Dennis Rodman and be like, hey, you got to get your shit together. And then Phil Jackson saying to Dennis Rodman, you got to get your shit together. Like, who is Dennis Rodman going to listen to more, Phil Jackson or Michael Jordan? And you'll see in the Rodman documentary, he would do anything for Michael Jordan, anything. So, and I also think too, it does elevate you. And remember, I'm not saying that you're going to give Brian the power to take him off the leadership team or anything like that, but it may be a sense of you give Brian this job to have this conversation with him and be like, hey, this is kind of what we're seeing as a leadership team, and let Brian give him the feedback. And then if it doesn't turn around, then you obviously can step in and do it. But you maybe kind of try and at first do this layer of, that what kind of Jocko would call, as you call extreme ownership, the decentralized command, right? That it's not always coming from the top. It's like we're arm in arm and holding each other accountable. So just another way to look at it is because you're looked at as daddy. Right? You'll always be daddy. I'm daddy in my business. And I will say this, when Tom comes down on one of our younger trainers, they straighten up. And I'm not saying they don't when they do it with me, but it's almost like when Tom does it, it's like, you're just letting the team down. When I do it, it's like, all right, I'm about to get fired. So just a thought. But I do think, Joe, you should revisit the core value check. And is it true that, is it just a capacity thing, and is he just fatigued and tired, and does he just need a little time to recover, or is this an attitude thing that may be violating one of your core values? So Anthony said,
Yeah,
I gotta tell you,
frozen pond.
Oh yeah, I saw these stupidest. Sometimes when I go in my sauna and I can't like think well because it's so hot in there, I look at stupid Facebook stuff. I saw this woman, and she was a blogger, and she's like in Finland. She lives in Finland or something, and she like literally walks out of her house onto this like ice pond, like your house, but it's like mountains in the background. It looks like it's like. And so she walks out, and she gets in, she's got a bikini on, and it's literally like freezing cold. There's snow. You can't see anything except snow. And there's a hole cut in the lake. And she gets down to a bikini, and she jumps into and they're showing her underwater while she's in this free cold water, and she's like this. Like smiling like this. She's like enjoying this thing. And then she gets out of the water. She sits down on the snow, doesn't dry off, and is holding a cup of coffee next to a fire and putting like perfect logs onto a fire and just saying, this is how I start my day, a cup of coffee and ice bath. And I was like, fuck you, girl. I was like, come on.
You were sitting in the sauna with your Uggs on.
Yeah, no, but I was just like, it's so like played out. It's so fake. It was such bullshit that she was like, probably like, this is so cold, but I'm going to smile at the same time. And I was just like so angry that it was like misleading people to make me think that, oh, because I flinch in an ice bath that I'm some kind of a wimp or something like that. I was like so pissed off after I saw that she's literally smiling. She's underwater in an ice pond and like holding and like smiling and then sitting there. And it literally says in the credits, she doesn't dry off after her ice bath. She just sits on the snow with a cup of coffee and a fire. I was going ape shit. It was so funny. Anyway, I don't know where we got.
Yeah, I think my question's good. Go on, move on.
You're good. I think I think you give the B money, but I will say this. 22 to 24-year-olds and girlfriend problems taking over their lives is a very real thing. Is a very real thing, and has not a reflection of you, Joe. I have the same thing happening in my gym. The same thing happening in my gym with the younger trainers, and they break up with a boyfriend or break up with a girlfriend, and it's the end of the planet. So, you know, the other thing that I have started to do is talk about unused capacity. The biggest unused capacity in my business was my wife. My biggest unused capacity was Vanessa. And Vanessa, dude, can someone who is ever chewing into can they please stop and mute themselves? Someone is like chewing on a bunch of straw or something, and it's right in my ear. But Vanessa has turned into this, like, the mom of the facility. And she's starting to help these guys through all of these challenges and problems. And she is like, because Joe, do you want to be dealing with relationship issues and talking to your trainer about their problems with his girlfriend and their fights that they had last night? I certainly don't want anywhere near that. But Vanessa loves that stuff. And she's been like helping them through it. So there is a sense in, and again, if you don't have, someone like her, but there is that sense of, helping them and just really teaching them that, hey, this is not going to be the end of the world, that you had to fight with your girlfriend or everything's going to be okay. So it may be you need to bring Mel in to start helping them with these problems, or Mel's probably just like you.
No, Mel wouldn't mind. I asked Krista to do it. She's like, I'll just tell him to quit being a bitch. I'm like, never mind, Krista.
Yeah, so Chris is not
We
the
don't
right
say
one.
anything.
But Mel,
Maybe
so
Mel.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so this is from Steve Handy. Oh, can I say this, Steve, or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Steve Handy was an Army Ranger.
Special Forces.
Special Forces. So not an Army Ranger.
No, Green Beret.
Yeah, Green Beret. So Green Beret Special Forces. And so Steve has no tolerance for any type of this. So my advice to you, Steve, is don't hire anyone that's 24. That's my advice to you.
Sounds like a plan.
Stick with the older people. I got to read your message. Can I read your message?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Steve goes, how do you do that? At 24, I was dealing with death and destruction. Hard time relating to whiny ass shit. That's what Steve.
Dude, set your girlfriend aside, put it aside, get in and do the job.
Yeah.
If I had to rely on the guy next to me and he was crying because of relationship situation and we died, I'm going to be pretty pissed about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So my advice to you, Steve, is just don't hire anyone that's 24. But if you do have people that 24, you can be a role model and a mentor to them. And, I don't think you baby them and enable them through situations like this, but you can be a source of leadership, or you can be a source of, maybe they don't have a father figure in their life that they could learn this stuff through. So there is that side of it. And I'm not saying to baby him or anything like that, but there is that side of, hey, I worked at Synergy and, they taught me how to be a trainer, but they also taught me how to be a man, so there is that part of it that I look at as our job as leaders. And obviously, you can only give so many chances. So we went way over on that one, but.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, we have our meeting with you on March 20th, and I'm not going to come down there and waste time on this stuff. I want him to get his crap in order so we can work on real business stuff.
Well, I will get him to get his shit together. I promise you that. If you'll allow it.
Yeah, he's been down there before. He went to your seminars down there.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Too bad I'm going to have to miss that one. That would have been fun.
Yeah, we don't want you anywhere near him. Oh, gosh. That's good. All right. I keep wanting to talk about this stupid girl from Iceland or Finland or whatever she was, where she was smiling in the ice bath with it, literally sitting next to a fire. And like, how the logs, they're like, the logs are like the fake logs. That's what it looked like. They were all cut perfectly and they were all like stacked. Yeah, like they were all stacked perfectly. And I was just like, dude, this ain't real. This ain't real. You don't do that every morning. You're doing this for the camera because you had to make a camera go under freezing water to make this happen. So this is not a normal day for you. All right, who's next? Kate, were you raising your hand?
Sorry, no, I was just waving to my.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
I don't have a input, but I can just agree with the age gap thing because I am a fellow 20-year-old idiot. I think that'll make a big impact in just getting somebody a little bit more relatable, I suppose. But I'm not joking. If you want me to talk to him, motivate that guy and just be like, I've done it. I mean, because it's, it's marriage versus not, right? It's like long-term versus not.
You're an old soul though, Will. You're not like a typical 26-year-old.
Yeah. Started early. So.
Yeah. All right. What else?
I got one.
What else? Was it Kyle?
Yeah.
Kyle and then Anthony.
The issue we're running into, which was easier when we had one location, obviously, is the quality of the coaching is going down. Getting feedback from the clients.
Yep.
So I'm trying to figure out, I had a coaching session last night because one of the coaches is gone, and just the feedback from the clients. Now, I know the answer is not for me to go back and coach a lot of these sessions. So, Mike's our head trainer, so I've been trying to work with him on, we got to have some kind of evaluation system, pop-ins, something, but they're not getting it. The coaches are not getting what I expected of them.
Yep. So there's two processes you have to look at, Kyle. There's two processes when you have an issue like this. And honestly, we are seeing this even in one facility as we grow and we have more and more trainers, right? It does. You have to do a really good job. So there's two processes. It's either a hiring issue, right? It's either a hiring issue or it's a training / leadership issue. So that you have to look at it first and say, is it a hiring problem? Are we hiring the wrong people? Are we going to the wrong well to find the people we want? Are we not asking the right questions? Are we hiring too fast? Right? And that is a very real thing. And I told you guys all of this. Any of you, I've told you this. If you want to open up multiple facilities, your biggest problem will be what?
People.
Human capital. Your biggest problem will be human capital and finding enough people to do the job. Okay. Hence why a Joe Hashi model is so beautiful, because you don't need as many people. But that's another story. And it could be a potential conversation though, right? Do you need to structure the business so you have less percentage of these problems happening? Yeah. But you have to go back to the drawing board, Kyle, and look at the hiring process. And is it different than it was before? Is there someone else doing the hiring different than there was before? Are you getting them from a different place? So that's the first thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hiring, because they fit the core values as far as they get it on a lot of levels. We do get a lot of positive feedback about them as people. But for example, like when I didn't get Big Tom came down a couple weeks ago to do like an in-service for us.
Yeah.
And Devin went. I didn't go. I had the kids. But Devin said, Kyle, he walked in and just commanded, like a training meeting almost. Like he commanded. That's the way a training meeting should be run. Where, Mike's doing the head training, but I don't think they're getting the same thing out of the meetings,
From Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's a conversation, with Mike that we have to turn him into, I know he's kind of been on some of these calls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You have to instill that in him. And he needs to, the best thing for me is just they respect Tom like just as much as they respect me.
Yeah.
So it's a thing where, that's, Kyle, it's easier said than done. And, is it a hiring issue on that side of it? We got to look at is, and I hate to say this, but it's not, sometimes some people aren't meant to be in that leadership role. But that being said, he's there. And what I would be doing is I would be training the hell out of him to make it happen. And so, I assume you're doing this, but are you giving him stuff to read? Are you giving him even public speaking type things that, you got to know that he is now a public speaker when at those meetings? And is there a way that he can, get better at that? And go ahead. What's going on right now to make him better as a leader?
I do weekly or bi-weekly meetings with him as far as that goes. As far as the public speaking, I kind of gave him and Dana the option. We're kind of testing out right now. They could either do Toastmasters or BNI, so they got to speak every week, and then I can work on that with them. What's up, Colty? Yeah, go ahead. So it's just the presence. Like when I was at the last training meeting, it was the one after Tom. The energy isn't there in those sessions. Training me, people should be up and moving and engaged. So when I went up, I had people, engage them right away. So I think it's just the structure of the meeting, the frequency of the meeting maybe. And then, so Mike's schedule, he's got the 10 office hours every week and he coaches about 30 hours a week. And he's mainly in the mornings from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m., but getting him to observe and.
Kyle, let me ask, if you were to watch Mike train from outside of a window, is it exactly the way you want it to be?
No. And that well, it kind of goes, I would want it to be like me, like when I coached. Some of that's.
So you remember Maxwell's law of the lid?
Remind me.
So John Maxwell's law of the lid is a organization will only go as high as the level of the leader. So if Mike is on a scale of 1 to 10, if he's an 8, most likely people will stay in 8 and not get to that level. Right? That is the capacity. Okay. So if he's the one that's responsible for their performance and he's at an 8, there will be most likely below him, most likely. Okay. You can get an all-star once in a while. So, and I know you invested a lot of time in him and I think he's a great kid. I really, really like him. But at the end of the day, doesn't he need, if he's the guy,
yeah,
right? Doesn't he need to be up to par?
Yeah.
Right. And so do we need to work on him first before we even work on the others? And because there is the one thing that Tom is, and he'll admit this, Tom is not, talk about not being good with like recognizing feelings and stuff like that. Like Tom is like not that at all. But Tom leads by example better than anyone I've ever met. And then literally the leadership is watch me do what I do. And that tends to work. So that is a leadership by example is a big part of leadership, right? It's not just what people say. It's not just what you ask people. It's not just the questions you ask. It is you. It is how you conduct yourself. And so they need to, if the person that's in that, so why Mike probably needs to look to you and, why he's probably gotten a lot better than he actually is because he's seen you.
Yeah. Yeah, him and Dan.
But yeah, exactly.
And
so I think the fix here is one, you got to identify is this a specific one-off person or is this an overall cultural thing?
It's overall.
Okay. So then you need to go to the head,
sure.
Right? You need to go to the head. I have no doubt that, you're providing good energy and you're running good staff meetings and things are going well. I have no doubt that you're providing that, but it's the second in command that is really you've put in charge of the performance of all these other guys is what's in question.
Yeah. So that's what I got to focus on. As far as you said, is leading by example. If we basically have between the two gyms, you have AM and PM. He's essentially just on an AM in Flemington with one night in Hillsborough. So he's not getting to lead by example for everybody or seeing everybody. So I've got to figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, that's a logistical issue. But really, I think the conversation needs to be had is like when you're watching him, what are you seeing and are you happy with what you're seeing with him?
As far as when he's coaching or
yeah. Yeah. Where is he? Is he a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10? Is he a 7? And if he's a 7, people below him in the organization are going to be a 7 too.
Yeah.
Here's what happened with why I was able to have success in business for a long time. I hired Tom, and then I hired Joe Hardigan. And there was 3 of us that were superpowers. And anyone else that came in was swallowed up by that energy.
Yeah.
So that's really your second in command. And I've said this many times, right? And I look at like a Chris Merritt, right? And I look at having Chris and Todd there. That's a big, the kids want to be a part of that. You know, so I think Mike can get there, but he just may need more coaching and I think you're the perfect person to give him that. I mean, you with your coaching background and you know all the mind map shit and all that stuff. I mean, you probably know what you need to pull out of them. Maybe you need to send your whole staff to UPW when it comes to New Jersey. Well, I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
I tell you want to set your staff on fire, send them to a Tony Robbins event.
Okay.
I will say I have seen, and I thought my wife was wonderful before. Wonderful. But the change that I have seen in her is it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's nothing I wouldn't say to her, and it's nothing she wouldn't come up here and tell you guys. But you know, that is so. So Kyle, do you remember what we learned? You know, in what Paul taught us from vibrations and the energy and
go over that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, so that's essentially. So you got to like, you know, where is Mike?
Okay.
And I don't think he's low, but I don't think he's high.
Yeah.
Right. And so basically what I'm talking to Kyle about is there's a level of vibration that all of you put off that either attracts people or repels people. And there's a certain level that you actually can measure this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to measure, and I have no idea how to do it. I think they did it with muscle testing, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
They did it with applied kinesiology. It was like muscle testing. And they actually gave a score on how high or low you vibrate. And the higher people vibrated, the more you're attracted to that person. So if you think of someone like Tom, when you're around Tom, what do you think? Like he's a good energy guy. He's a positive guy. You're attracted to Tom, not like, you know what I mean, but you're attracted to him because there's a good energy coming from him. Most of you in this group are like that. Most of you, but think about me and think about, would you get on this call? There's 40 of you on this call. Would you get on this call week after week after week if I was kind of vibrating down low? No, because that you come to this call, I'm guessing, to not only get advice, but to get energy. And if I was on the lower level of vibration, you guys would not keep coming back to this call. So your trainers need to be out there doing that. And I said the success in a gym and a success of a trainer is, does the client drive to the gym and be excited to spend an hour with that person? And no one vibrating on a low level is ever going to do that. So Kyle, I think that the end result here is there needs to be an assessment of where Mike is at.
Yeah.
And we need to elevate his performance first before we can really even address any of the other people.
Okay.
So I'd take on that task and really push it to that. TJ, Anthony was next. So we're going to go from one Long Island guy to the next. So Anthony, go ahead.
Well, I actually have a follow-up to what you're just talking about. So let's just say that your trainers are on a lower energy, like what you said, like a lower energy type.
Yes.
How do you make them higher?
So remember, it's the difference between, don't mistake being rah-rah with energy. Right? Don't mistake being rah-rah with energy. Someone can be rah-rah and it could sound, we used to have a guy in this group that he's not in the group anymore, but he was really rah-rah. Okay. And it was like, it just was very, very weird. And to him, he was being high energy, But to me, it vibrated at a very low level because it was just like, yeah. So there is a difference. Like even a Tom is not a huge, like rah kind of guy. If anything, Tom is a little dry. You know, Tom, his nickname is Born Asshole, right? That's what his nickname is. He's a born asshole. But the reality is Tom has a really, really good energy without being rah-rah. So Anthony, is it not that they're like yelling and screaming, but, well, let me ask you this. Do you want to go have a beer with this person?
Yeah, I would.
With your clients?
Yeah.
Then I don't think it's hurting you as much as you may think.
Okay.
I think it's more of an energy. Are they attracted to that person? And again, not in a way that not in that way, but are they attracted? Do they want to be around that person? Do they enjoy being around that? And like, I look at my wife as the highest vibrating woman I've ever met. Like, she is just people, like I myself, but people just, they take a Pilates class with her and they're like, I want to spend the rest of the day with her. She vibrates at such a high level. So, and I don't know if it's necessarily the jumping around and the energy that way. It's more of, can they have good energy and get people to want to continue to be with them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
What was that? What was that called that I just did with Anthony?
I forgot what you said. You said it earlier.
What was that called? Type into the chat. No. Well, yes. Well, what I called it something specific, Randy. Who was sleeping through my lessons?
Trial close.
Thank you, Joe Hashi. It's a trial close. Does that make sense? Did you get it? All right, TJ, go. Anthony, are you all set there? Or did you have another question?
No, that wasn't my question. I was just kind of following up.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. What's your question then?
So I kind of need to be walked off the ledge a little bit today because I have, I guess, a little bit of a head trash. So we've had a problem with attrition in the past, but since we put a lot of things in place to kind of fix that, so we cut our average loss down by 4 people a month. So overall, it's been good. At the quarter, we're down more than before. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. So
Let me stop you right there, please. Everyone write this down. Progress equals happiness. Progress equals happiness. Proceed, Anthony.
Yeah, I guess I'm done then.
All right, TJ, what do you got?
Yeah, it's actually going back to what Kyle was talking about. I'm dealing with my head coach just quit 2 weeks ago, so he was somebody that that was, I would say, on the energy level was where I needed him to be, and then at some point around like the holidays started to kind of go down on energy, and I started to really notice it in the staff, and I also, started in my other staff members to the point where I was like, man, do I have to like completely clear house? And I did not want to think about like what that was going to look like. So the reason why I'm not really in this call was we had to move our coaches team meeting to Wednesday. So I was a part of that just now. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by my guy, Rob, who stepped up, and he's going to be taking that role. So I was, to tell you the truth, like very pessimistic and kind of, I've been dealing with a lot of head trash over the last couple of weeks over this whole scenario. And, he really surprised me in a positive way. And I think, that's one thing just to consider, Kyle, and sometimes you got to like switch things up where I probably should have let my other coach go at a certain point. And because it was pulling us down so much, I tried everything that I could because he's been with me for so long, but it really was kind of like holding us back in so many ways. And now we've got some better energy guys on the team that, one guy in particular that's been with us for the last like month or so, that's really just eating it up and, really, really bring it every day. So that's just one thing to just like consider, Kyle. And, just it's always a tough scenario, but if it's the wrong guy in the wrong seat, then, sometimes it's a hard decision that needs to be made. And maybe it's just like switching roles. The other thing I would bring up to the group is asking, the one thing that I was actually coming into this call, not 100% sure about, was structuring those trainer meetings so that they're not just kind of like repetitive and like just like rehashing or like going over the same things over and over again.
I'm seeing a pattern here. Would it help if I brought Tom on to teach a lesson of how to run a trainer meeting?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing for me is like to maybe set up like a curriculum calendar of some sort. Like right now, what we're doing is we have some newer coaches, so we're going over like how to run the first session, like how to run, a one-on-one session, the first session, how to teach them, everything from their specific warm-up correctives. So we kind of grab a common program from one of our clients, and we kind of go through it as a group. But that gets old pretty quick. So making sure that we have some sort of a progressive approach without being, so structured that, that it just becomes boring over time. So yeah, I think that would be huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that a lot of times too, with these meetings, you have to really make them flexible because there's things that come up that you got to handle and there's changes that you got to make. So it can't be, like you said, it can't be too much of a curriculum because then to them that's boring. And I do think that there's a lot to be learned from just talking about specific cases for specific clients. This person.
Yeah, I think that's where we start the conversation. Right now, I'm also working through Changemaker for our team meetings. So our team meetings are going to be kind of like going along with that book, and there's like kind of like each chapter has the lessons. So we're working through that, as like our book club for the next couple of weeks for our next couple of team meetings. So that's kind of like the common theme that's going behind everything that we're doing. But then when it comes to the trainer meetings, getting everybody up to speed on coaching technique and program design and everything, is
well, I'll bring the big man on next week. And I just to tell you guys, I purchased 10 copies of a book called Let the First Rep Suck. And I bought that for all of our team members. Let the First Rep Suck is the title. And I bought 10 copies for our team. And I think that'd probably be a good purchase for you guys to buy for your team.
Yeah, that's the next one.
Preferably if you do it in the month of February, as all of the proceeds go to a charity.
For a really, really awesome kid. Not just for him, for every kid that has it.
So it's the book I'm talking about is a book written by Chris's partner, Todd Baumgartner. So I highly suggest the book, even though I haven't read it yet. I'm sure it's good because Todd knows his stuff. But I bought a copy for each of our trainers simply because I wanted to buy a lot of copies to be able to, raise funds for a charity. So probably a good purchase for you guys.
I've got my copy. I got to make a team purchase next. I didn't realize that it was the month of February, so I'll get it done this week.
Very good.
Yes. One, thank you. Can I know you're going to have Tom on, but can I give a little something here?
Absolutely.
So we do have an agenda. We follow like an exact order of how we do our meetings every single week. I would argue that we probably have some of the best team meetings out there, but to like the point that everyone's saying, like how Vince is like, you have to have flexibility to be able to talk about things that come up. I'm going to read through it real quick. Here is our agenda. We start off with, just like this call, we've been doing this for years. We start off with bright spots. Everybody has to say one personal, one professional. And I can tell you that we didn't always do that. We used to start with anything we need to talk about.
Doom and gloom.
Yeah. People would be like, oh, this person hasn't been in weeks. This person told me something negative. This person, and we would just, by the time we went to go to any lessons, everyone's like head hanging like,
yeah,
man, this sucks. So we start with bright spots. And then another bright thing, we say, what cards need sent? And we do handwritten cards for people in the gym. We don't write them right there in the meeting, but everybody comes into the meeting knowing that we're going to ask what cards need sent this week. So birthdays, PRs, Someone talked about like results, whatever it is, any reason whatsoever, someone should be recognized. One of our members broke her elbow this week, not in the gym. She's getting a card. What would your 10 be for today? So meaning how we rate the meeting, but we used to just be like, rate it at the end, but now we make them coming into the X's and O's of the meeting now. What would have to happen today for this to be a 10 for you?
Love it.
So in their heads, they rate the meeting, what they set, what would make it a 10. And then Tommy, who is like basically our head trainer. I mean, Todd's the head trainer, but Tommy has taken a lot of the things off his plate. We do a coaching check-in with, actually, no, we skipped one thing. We do our scorecard. We keep the coaches up to date on all trials, conversions, but we turn it over to them because they're the ones working with everybody. Like me and Todd aren't on the floor coaching at all really anymore, unless we're covering. So we ask them how all these new people are doing. Is there anything that Todd or myself should reach out and do to help? Then we kick it over to Tommy and we do a coaching check-in. And he keeps a sheet that I took from that book that Vince sort of recommended, that Make the Noise Go Away book, where it was like, sort of like the mastermind meeting 2 ago, where it was like, don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions. So they'll pay attention to things that didn't go well during the week. But then on Thursday night, this meeting's on Friday, on Thursday night before the meeting, Tommy talks to Todd and says, hey, these were the problems this week. Here's what I think we can do to get in front of it going forward. And Todd gives him the thumbs up. And then Tommy teaches that during this coaching check-in. Then we check in on, and then this is fast. Everything's timed like we talked about to kick off the call. Then we check in on how people are doing, and we don't do this one every single week, but we do it at least once a month, how people are doing personally, professionally, physically, and what we call enrichment, which is
Well,
like—
I tell you, I like that, how you're doing physically, because I mean, dude, it's like very easy for trainers to get into the rut of getting out of shape. It is very easy. I love that one. Good job. Keep going, Chris.
Then we start to get into like whatever it is that we're covering for that period. So this past week, it was a goals check-in, which is everyone has their quarterly goals and they need to be by the table. They need to have personal, professional, physical, and enrichment goals. So we did a check-in. Hey, it's whatever it is, second week in February. Where are we at? Same way you would do a level 10. Are we on task? Are we behind? Is it done? And is there anything we can do to help? Then we get into whatever the main topic is for the day. So this past week, it was public speaking. We're going to have all of our guys have to present here coming up. So we checked in on what they need for confidence with their presentations. And then whatever our reading assignment is, we check in on the due outs from the week prior. So like you're doing Changemaker. We are currently reading Tiny Habits. And then that sounds like it would take forever. This does not take long. Our whole meeting's an hour and a half. So all of that was sitting in the office. Then we get up and it's what movements do we need to cover this week? So it's like, hey, this past week, it was like Todd being in the gym, observing. He's like, hey, I saw a lot of people starting their deadlifts without any tension. Let's go over how to set tension with our deadlift. We took like 5 minutes, covered it, which is really a reminder for them, but made sure, okay, we're all going to really pay attention to tension during the deadlift. And then we finish off with appreciation. 2 things. Appreciation, it doesn't have to be someone in the room, but you would say someone or something that you appreciate. So once again, ending on a positive, and then we rate the meeting.
Awesome. Zach, can you make sure that in our call log that this is highlighted, that we have Chris Merritt's meeting structure? Make sure that is highlighted.
Give credit to Todd as well on that, because
Chris and Todd's meeting structure.
That was amazing.
Just put BSP Nova meeting structure.
I just wrote that whole thing down.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm not going to sit here and try and sell that book, but if you like structure and systems, I had a pretty successful business before I brought Todd in 2016. And read that. Don't just get the book. I mean, by all means, get the book and support the charity. But if you like
Zach,
systems, read the book.
Zach, let's put in the post where you post the call, put a link to the Amazon. Put a link to the Amazon link for Todd's book as well.
Thank
Okay.
Thank you.
So I have one follow-up there, Chris. So that is amazing. That sounds more like what I do on a Monday. It sounds like I might be breaking this meeting up unnecessarily. Do you do this once a week with the whole staff?
Fridays
You
from
just have one meeting?
10:30 to 12. Yep.
Yeah, so a 90-minute. Right now, I'm doing 2 60-minute blocks. It's probably just I shouldn't even be thinking about doing that. Just do one 90-minute meeting on a Monday.
So we do it 10:30 to 12, which is right as our morning sessions finish up, and then we reopen at 12. So it's everyone's either going or coming in that time. So we're just like, boom, everyone's here at this time. We do pay them to be there as well, but we didn't always do that. Those are not the only meetings. Todd and I have a level 10. That's just he and I. We have invited the coaches to jump in on that if they'd ever like. Pretty open book on that stuff. The coaches, me and Todd are absent. They meet, to be honest with you, I don't even know what day it is. I think it's today. The coaches meet and basically have a retention meeting so that when they report, like the client check-in part on Friday, they're not looking at each other being like, where are we at? Like they meet on Wednesdays and prepare for that.
I will tell you this. One of the best parts of my week is walking by the turf when I'm about to get on the call with you guys and watching my trainers meet.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful, beautiful thing that you can see your business improving and your business getting better when you're not there. And it is an outstanding. So I love the fact that you're giving and here's the thing. It's like kind of goes back to the Joe Hashi thing. You know, you're giving people ownership. You're giving people ownership over that. And people want that. They want the trust. They want the respect. You're showing them, if you give them that autonomy, right, you're showing that you believe in them and you trust them. So this is, I will tell you this, you want to have a bright spot of your week. Don't go to your team meetings and watch them do all the work. And it'll be a great, great day.
And
awesome job.
The last meeting is, I alluded to, is Todd and Tommy might be in person. Sometimes it's a phone call, but they check in on what didn't go well and what Tommy's ideas are. And he's to come to that meeting with options for ideas and which one he thinks is the best one. 9 times out of 10, Todd's like, I agree, but Todd's amazing at having those conversations. And sometimes he'll be like, I'm not buying it. Like, this is a theme. We've said that one multiple times, or I know you like that option, but I'm kind of leaning towards this one. Let's talk about it. And at the end of the day, it's never an issue, but it would be Todd's final call of what gets implemented the following week.
Awesome. Great job, Chris. Thank you so much.
Chris. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Zach, could you also make sure you put in the show notes Vince's rant about the ice bath lady? I actually want you to see if you can create that separate and make that a YouTube link. I'm actually thinking about doing that. Stupid girl. So stupid. Donna, you would have been like rolling your eyes at this lady. No one sits by a fire with perfect logs. Right? They all, they look like they were all like those mini Duraflame logs. They were all like these perfect logs. And literally she's sitting there and it says on the words in the TV in the script, she doesn't even bother to dry off. Come on. I'll have to find it for you guys and play it for you. Yes, TJ.
One more thing. One thing I might have even brought up in the past. One of the new coaches that I brought on, this is kind of like a career change for him. He did work for his family's business. It was like a medical sales business, but he's very, very passionate about the marketing of the business because he was involved with that with his previous job. So he's becoming certified and he's really picking up the coaching really quickly, but he has expressed that he would love to help us on the marketing side. So I guess my question is, has anybody had success having a coach? And I know that this is something that becomes difficult over time, but having a coach kind of either get paid a couple hours a day or whatever it may be to kind of help run social media /
So here's what you need to do. You need to just piecemeal this together, okay? Because I've done this, and it's rare that you're going to find a trainer that's all of a sudden going to be your marketing person, right?
No.
That's going to do all that and stuff like that. So what you have to do is find where could they add value and what do you need? The important thing to do is not just to find something for them to do, right? The important thing to do is to find out what your business needs and can they fill that need? Do you have a need, TJ, of getting more images on social media and telling more stories about your clients? And would they do a good job of gathering those stories and telling those stories? Okay. Would they be good at writing, right? So I had Tom for many years write emails for us, and it turned into wasn't a good writer when he started, but it turned into a pretty decent writer. So he did the email, but he never really kind of did the whole marketing thing. And we at one point even tried it, and it was a miserable failure because he didn't have the skill set, but he may have the skill set to do a piece of it. So the key is for you right now is take this up in chunks and be like, all right, what does your business need right now? Can he fill that void? And can you compensate him for his time for filling that void?
Right. I was thinking, along the lines of, whether it's, 2 to 4 hours a week paid, whatever he's getting paid.
Have him log his hours.
Yeah. Okay. Whether he's here or at home.
Yeah. If he's doing work for your marketing.
Right.
And give him an hourly rate for that.
Same as he's paid as a coach?
I mean,
right. He's an entry level coach. He's $12.50 right now. He'll be going up to $15 once he's certified and, after his 3 months.
Yeah. I think at that price, you could pay him the same.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we can give him $6 an hour.
No.
Vince, I got another question, unless someone else wants to go.
No,
Long Island guys, taking over this call. The other call.
Jackie, do you have a question?
Yeah.
No, Jackie has no questions.
So I need to hire someone because if I'm probably going to sign the lease on the new place, I'm definitely going to need someone. Even when I was running the department, when I was working for the big box gym, I was always hiring people internal. I've never had to go out and actually find someone. So I have your book right in front of me, and I've been going through it the past couple of days. Do you think I should just start with just Indeed and fitnessjobs.com as far as?
Don't start with fitnessjobs.com. Fitnessjobs.com is like a dying horse. Don't use it. It's not everything that you'll see on Fitness Jobs will be seen in Indeed. So don't waste your time on Fitness Jobs. I should probably make an announcement that because an addendum to the book, the guy that used to run Fitness Jobs is a nice guy, but just got swallowed up by Indeed. So I would start with just Indeed. But Ant, is there other places can you go? Do you need to start an internship program where you can start getting a feeder system of potential coaches? TJ might be a good person to talk with about that, who kind of knows that landscape pretty good and is in the same area as you. Let me ask you this, TJ, do you know someone, that
Yes.
you didn't hire?
Anthony, I just spoke about this, and I don't know why I didn't bring it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I, there's a chance I could call Kyle and be like, hey, Kyle, I need a trainer. Is anyone that you didn't hire, because you were full? Or sometimes we'll do interviews with 10 people and we can't hire all 10. And there was a couple good ones in there. It's rare, but that's another option. And so Indeed is one option. Talking with TJ is another option. Going to and visiting with different advisors is another option, right? Advisors meaning internship programs. And TJ, I think you could probably help him with that as well for there. So that's where I would start, Ant. But the other thing is, what about your network, from your old school days? Like, is there anyone from your big box that you know? It kind of goes back to, I think, I don't remember when I did this. If this was, all these calls are just like combining together that I've been doing recently. But it's who do I know and who do I need to know? Who do I know and who do I need to know? So relative to this thing, Anthony, who do you know that could help you get a trainer? You know TJ Lopez that can help you get a trainer. Who do you know? Well, you know Pete, right? Pete works for you. Does Pete know somebody?
Yeah, no, I asked him. He doesn't know anybody. And I have reached out to a couple people already.
Well, tell him to think harder.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like, but maybe, and I talked about Fawns. You guys remember what Fawns is?
Yeah.
What's
Friends,
Fawns?
acquaintances.
Right. So same kind of thing with the referral system as you're using this, because it's exactly what this is. It's a referral system. But is there any people from your big box life that you could reach out to and ask? So you have to look at all of your resources. Who do you know, right? And then who do you need to know? In this case, who do I need to know? I need to know the advisor here. I need to know, someone from Indeed. I need to know blah, 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 blah. So I'd sit down and kind of just brainstorm that list. Will.
I was just gonna say, Indeed, don't pay them. They're gonna hound you for money. Like, I put up an ad for free with just I spent time on the description, whatever. I got 10 really, really good applicants in like 4 days, and my head trainer has been doing interviews, so it's been good on Indeed. Just don't pay them because they'll hound you. It doesn't do anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think Indeed's your spot, and especially when you open 10 facilities. But remember, the beauty about your model is that you open 10 facilities, you don't need that many trainers.
Right.
That's the beauty of what you're doing. 10 facilities equals 2.4 million in personal income.
Will, that's a thing. There's a free way of.
Oh yeah, you can do Indeed free for sure.
I didn't know that.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Indeed. Yeah, it's. Yeah,
that's how you should all start. You should all start with free Indeed, and see where it goes.
Vince, with Indeed though, is that like a line that you keep in the water all the time? Like, should I just
Joe,
keep that ad up?
Joe Hashi, do you have your ad running all the time?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think it's something that you. Yes, that's a good question, and I would.
Okay.
And I believe we do at GFP.
Okay. Thank you.
If it does, especially if it doesn't cost you anything. CT. Or do you have another question? No more questions from the island. Beetle, you look like Big John Stud today. Anyone know who Big John Stud is? Yeah. All the old people are smiling. I see Randy, Mike Williams, all the people my age are smiling. Yeah, I know Big John Stud, Drew. Will has no idea what we're talking about. Kyle, you remember Big John Stud, right? Yeah. This was a fun call. I had a good time today. I don't normally have fun. Normally it's boring for me, but this was fun. No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. It's always fun. You're moving Revo Fitness to New Jersey? Why?
No, I was joking. My hair is too good.
Why are you moving Revo to New Jersey?
No, and so I can just get trainer referrals all day and just absorb and show up less. I've got a thought or a question. So,
what is it? A thought or a question? Can't be both.
Both, actually. It's kind of both. So I was thinking about offers, right? What about, and this is for ads specifically. So what about advertising a plan? I've got the thing right here. Like set up your fitness success plan. Here, I've got the, 1 second, sorry. So basically, book your call, right? Step 1. Step 2, meet with one of our trainers to set up your, fitness success plan. Your, I've got the copy right here. Yeah, like get your fitness success plan. I feel like the psychology behind someone that's busy, they want the cue card of how to get fit, right? And if you just say, we'll show up 3 times a week to our program, it's going to work. They're like, where do I pay, right? That's all their question is. So instead, I'm trying to figure out a replacement for a console because console's boring, right? And go in with the, the proven process or whatever, the card, right? And call that meeting just establishing the plan because that's what you're giving them, but call the session creating the plan instead of just meeting with a coach for a consult, which everyone thinks is just a sales meeting.
So create the plan. I like plan. I like plan. We used to use roadmap, which kind of does something similar, but I think plan is an easier thing for them to understand. So I like the term plan. I don't like create the plan, because create the plan makes it seem like there's going to be a lot of work involved.
Right.
So,
Get
and
your
same
fitness
thing with
success plan.
build. Yeah. It's almost like we give you the plan.
Right. So get
Right.
your success plan.
Yeah. Get your plan. Or we give you the plan, or we design the plan for you. You got to almost think of, we got to make it easy versus the word create and build. It's like, I got to do all this work.
Right.
So I would
We
say,
design your plan.
we design your plan.
Is fitness success plan, is that are those the right words? Fitness success.
I'm not the fitness success is not speaking to me. I do think fitness and nutrition plan, because I do believe that people want the food side of it as well. And I think that a lot of times that's a big point of uncertainty, is what to eat. A big point of uncertainty. So you are going to now take that and remove that uncertainty, because they're going to tell me what to do for food. Think about it. Do you guys get more questions about what exercises you should do or what food they should eat? What do you guys think? What questions do you get? Do your clients come to you and be like, hey, I was wondering, what about the Bulgarian split squat, and if I should be doing 8 to 10 reps of those, or they're like, what should I eat for breakfast? What do you get more of? So if you're getting the question, there's a good chance that all day long. Randy, good to see you here participating. How much Halo Top ice cream do I need to meet my protein goal? There you go, Mike. So yeah, I would go with that. I do have exciting news, because I do have to go, because I have a meeting at 2:00 with my newsletter editor. So we are in the beta stages. This is a very, very rough copy. Still waiting on some articles from some people.
Right here. Is there anybody else? Is it just me? Yep. She's angry.
She's not happy with you.
Yep. She's angry.
She's not happy with you right now.
It's on. It's right here, actually. It's on. Yeah, it's right here.
Needs to be here. Needs to be in here.
Yep. It's right here. Got it right here. Yep.
So very excited about this. This is a big thing I'm launching this year, but I cannot wait. And you guys all get a free copy for being in the mastermind. I'm going to send one to your door every week. It's the old Kyle Newell print newsletter right to your door that I'm going to be sending to you guys. So, yeah, just waiting on one more person to get us what we need to get, and then we should be good to go. Anywho, it's been my pleasure to work with you guys today. I had a blast. That was a really fun call. We got to do it like that more often. And I'll see you guys Friday on your check-in. Zach, make sure you put that stupid lady Finland ice bath in the check, and make sure you do the Chris Merritt and Todd Baumgartner plan, and also the link for the book. Peace, everybody.